Welcome to this shortwave radio channel, and of course, now we continue our look at what is the shortwave spectrum of frequencies, megahertz by megahertz. And this time around, on this video, we're going to take a look at what's between 3 and 4 megahertz. This is an interesting part of the spectrum I tune very often, and there's a lot of stuff in here and a lot of interesting stuff too. So the first, of course, is the bottom part of the frequency range is for aeronautical. So you will hear in that bottom part up to about 3100 kilohertz, maybe less. Some airplanes you will hear, New York, Gander, and different air traffic control stations with traffic depending on propagation. 3016 I think is one that I hear quite often here. So check that out. There's a lot of stuff there to listen to. Around 3100 to 3500 is a mixed bag of really a mixed bag of utilities of all sorts. 34 to 3500 is also aeronautical, so you'll hear all sorts of stations, including volmets or stations that give weather reports from airports, and of course air traffic control communications. There's also in there mixed in from about 3200 to 3400 the 90-meter tropical band, where there's stations that broadcast from the tropical ranges. Just to note a few, there's a few stations from the south of the United States. There's some stations there. I've heard Swaziland on 3240 quite a few times around 0400. So it's one of the bands that is worth listening to. Right now, for example, there's a big peak here, which is 3215. 3215 is WWRB or something like that. I'm trying to remember what station, but it's one of those US stations anyways that is broadcasting on 3215. So this is one. So there's all sorts of communications. Like here, this is a link. This is so these are some of these NATO link type transmissions. What do I hear also? Of course, notable frequency for here is CHU Canada time signal that is on that frequency range. So here we go. This is CHU Canada time signal. Not as good as it is from time to time. It's better than that very often. Also, notable signals in there that I will listen to in the aeronautical side of things is 3413, which is, I believe, Shannon Volmet when propagation is right. It's pretty much inaudible tonight. Propagation seems to... It's very weak in the noise. Propagation doesn't seem to be that great tonight. But lots of stuff in here. There's the Canadian Gander Vomit 3485. Might be hearing it in the noise here. So this is one. Then there is something interesting, depending on where you live here in North America, from 3500 all the way up to 4000 kilohertz is the 80 meters amateur radio band. And there's a lot of stations in that band. It's a nighttime, mostly nighttime band. It's one of those bands that a lot of people enjoy chatting along at night. It is really, really one of the most popular bands to chit chat away, and a lot of stations are here and use this band. There it goes here. So here's some ham stations. Of course, the band is split into pretty much the same way of other amateur bands. 3500 to about 35, 60, 70 is dedicated to Morse code. 3570 to around 35, 36, 10, 20 is for the digital portion of the amateur band. And then you get the sideband portion of this band that is from about 3600 all the way up to 4000. It is lower sideband, so that is something to note because this band is a lower sideband in modulation, except for digital modes, of course, that are always upper sideband everywhere. One portion of the band that is also to note is around 3880, 3875 to, let's say, 3870 to 3890 is often dedicated to AMers, a bunch of guys that kind of like the AM mode on their receivers. Also to note that if you're in Europe, this band of amateur radio is smaller, but also it incorporates a band of broadcast. So in Europe, you have a broadcast band that is from 39, roughly around 3900 to 4000 kilohertz. It's the 75 meter broadcast band. It is not for North America, but in Europe it is used quite a lot for different international broadcasters. So that's also something to take a look at, as a lot of broadcasters actually use that frequency range in Europe. And you know, sometimes you can hear some of these stations in this is probably a spurious signal from China radio. So one of the frequencies, for example, in Europe that I know one station is there almost all day is 3985, for example. There's a lot of pirates also that enjoy using that upper range of the 3 megahertz spectrum. So as you see, there's a lot of signals to listen to in there. It's worth it to like tune around and check out what you have in this through this megahertz segment of 3 to 4 megahertz. It's mostly nighttime. Sometimes in the winter time, it could be daytime with local signals, and it is one of those bands that's always packed with stuff to listen to if your noise level isn't too high where you live. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and thank you for watching our series.